Welcome everyone. My name is Luis Cabrera. I'm a General Program Manager in the Azure Cognitive Search team. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. Today we're going to learn how you can create great AI-powered business applications using Azure Cognitive Search. Our presenter today is Liam Kavanagh. He is a program manager in our team, and he is one of the founders of Azure Cognitive Search. So it's a pleasure to have him with us today. Liam, please take it away.
Hey, thanks, Louis, and thanks to everyone for joining us today. I'm really excited to talk to you about the AI-powered business applications, and we're really going to focus on this from the Azure Cognitive Search perspective. But before I do that, I want to explain to you what we mean by AI-powered applications or search applications in general. What I want you to do is think of how many times in your day you use search. Think of your mobile phones. Think of how many apps you use that have some search aspect to it. You might be searching for real estate listings. You might be looking for movies to watch this weekend. It could be a number of different reasons. But search is typically so critical, not only to mobile applications, but as to business applications that Louis mentioned as well. Search is a great way to allow you to really get insights, find critical information, and power your users in a logical way. And that's really what we're going to focus on today, is how can we do that, build those amazing business applications powered by search, and we're going to talk about how AI can help make that even better. So to start, what I wanted to do is I want to give you an idea of what we're talking about with Azure Cognitive Search. So when we're talking about Azure Cognitive Search, there's a couple of key things that I'd like you to make note of. First, Azure Cognitive Search is one of our platform as a service technologies within Azure. It allows you to put all of the content that you need, all of your organization's content into this service and make it fully scalable, allow you to make it so that you don't have to deal with all the management headaches that come with search and just managing that type of a data. So we make it super simple. As I mentioned, we also have AI capabilities. So what does that mean? Well, if you think about all the content that you have that you might want to search, and it might be coming from a database, it might be coming from files like PDFs or Office documents, but just being able to put in a word and then finding if that word is in any of your content is useful, and that's a key part of search. But imagine if you could use AI to make that even more effective. Imagine if you could use AI to extract the knowledge out of your content so that it understands it. It understands what it's about, all the different ways that content links. Imagine if you brought that in, and then when people searched over that content, it had a better idea of what they actually meant. So that if I'm searching for something, it can take into the context. It can understand different variations of words. AI is an amazing way to do that, and that's something that we're bringing into Azure Cognitive Search. The other thing to keep in mind is that we are a developer-based platform, so we are extremely customizable. If you are building an application for your organization, your users, your own organizations are likely going to have very specific requirements on what that application looks like, what it can do, how they search, who can search it. So being able to customize it in all kinds of different ways is very, very important. And I think one of the most important factors for most organizations is security. You know, we're starting to put in a lot of data into the cloud. A lot of this data is very, very critical to our businesses. So we need to make sure it's secure. And we have done a lot of work over the last little while to make sure that it's secure and compliant. So for example, not only do we have encryption, we have double encryption so that you can put in your own customer managed keys. We allow you to put the search service into what's called a virtual network, to put security boundaries around Azure Cognitive Search and any other service you might be using. And then as we link those services together through private endpoints, we secure those links as well, including something called managed identity, so that whenever our search service, say, crawls data from one of our other services, we can authenticate and ensure that we secure those links together. There are a number of other different areas where we include security, but this is really important. And finally, just the sheer number of search services that we support from different organizations. We search billions and billions of searches every single day. So this is very, very important and a big aspect for most organizations. So with that, let's take a look at a couple of customer examples. And I'm not going to go through all of these, but I want to give you a couple of examples. In fact, I'll just talk about these first two. So you get an idea of the types of things that people are doing with Azure Cognitive Search. I'm going to start at the top here with AutoTrader Canada. So if you've ever looked for a used car, you've probably gone to a site like this. If you're in Canada, you've probably gone to AutoTrader Canada. And being able to effectively find a used car is very much tied to search. So it's fine to be able to say search for Mustang or coupe or other words that are important, but being able to really refine down on those results. So I can filter down based on price, the manufacturer, the location. And that's critical too. Because if I'm looking for a used car, I don't want you to show me a used car that's on the other side of the country. I want you to show me relevant search results tuned for my needs. So through our ranking and tuning, it allows you to present information that is relevant to the user, taking in facts such as geospatial, so that I can only see cars that are close to where I'm currently located. That is really important. The other example is Amway. And actually, let's just kind of go on to the next slide here, and I'll show you a couple of screenshots. This is Amway out of China. And so what they do is they sell products. And as you can imagine, they have a large number of salespeople. And so with that, with all of the different products that they sell, there is vast amounts of content, product information, product literature, videos, other important information to help their sellers effectively sell what they're looking to give to their customers. So there's a couple of different ways that they've leveraged Azure Cognitive Search. And up on the top, this is in Chinese, so it's hard to really see this, but let me explain what you're seeing here. So on the top, it's a search interface so that their sellers can come in, search through that vast quantity of content, and then using our AI, which has extracted out insights into that content, it then allows them to further refine into exactly what they're looking for and get it quickly and easily. In the bottom shot, you'll see an example where we're actually using things such as AI to help us further explore what's in the content. So let's say that I'm looking at a product and our AI has learned that there are very strong correlations from one product to another. Just being able to see it in a graph view or another visualization makes it very easy for their sellers to get more insights into the data, not just looking for specific information, but gaining insights. And that's what we're really able to do when we combine search with AI. So I want to now transition into a demonstration. And to give you a little background on this, back when the coronavirus first started really becoming prevalent, what we started to learn is that with all the researchers, what they needed to do is they needed to be able to go through this vast amount of research that was happening, and it was really scaling up. The amount of research that was done on this virus was growing rapidly. And so for other researchers, other people that needed to keep up on this information or actually find insights was actually quite challenging. Not only was it challenging to find content, but it was challenging to find content that was accurate. And I want to go through in a very specific example. A person on our team, Jennifer Marsman, came to me and she actually said that she used this website that we created to search over this content for a very specific reason on her needs. So back at the time, what was happening was that there was a lot of social media that was coming along, and it was questionable whether it was accurate or not. And in this specific case, you can see a couple examples where it said that ibuprofen was showing to aggravate the virus. It was starting to have a negative impact on the virus, and this was really going around. So there was a lot of uncertainty. So what she did is she went to this site and she was able to look and actually get very specific information and actually be able to tell if that was accurate or not. I'll show you that in a second. Before I switch over to the demo, I want to give you an insight into how this web application was created. And it's a very consistent flow, a very consistent architecture that we see regardless of whether we're creating an application like one you're going to see here, or whether Amway, where they're taking their content and making it searchable, or maybe in your case where you have your own organizational data that you want to bring in and leverage it. So the first step, and in this case in our application, all the content was provided by an organization called Semantic Scholar. And what they do, and they've been great, because what they do is they aggregate all of the journals, all the information on this virus into one place, into a set of JSON files. And they make these available, actually updated on a very regular basis. And so what we did is we took this underlying data. But the problem with this data is that there was very limited information in there. There are things like the authors, the title of the art, the abstract body, a little bit of metadata like that. But that's really hard to build an exploration or search application against. So what we did is we tied in our enrichment technology. And this is part of Azure Cognitive Search, where we can crawl not only Azure blobs, we can just crawl SQL data stores, Cosmos database, many other places to bring that data and then enrich it. And in this case, what we wanted to do is we wanted to go through that content and we wanted to say, hey, can you extract out very specific medical entities or medical metadata relevant? So signs, symptoms, treatments, genes, family history, other aspects, and tag that document so we have much more enriched information and tie that. We tied in a product called Text Analytics for Health, one of our many Azure services that can apply AI knowledge to enrich it, as you can see here, store it, and then apply it to the search index. So let's take a look at that demonstration and see what that actually looks like. So here, I'm actually going to give the example that Jennifer provided to me, which was when she searched for ibuprofen. And you can see as I'm typing, it gives me the type ahead, so I can actually select an item. So that's part of Azure Cognitive Search, just quick type ahead over your content. And if we look here, let's look at the first result. Well, you'll notice here, luckily, in this case, it actually answered my question right away. It said there is no evidence supporting the risk of ibuprofen in patients, and we provided that right away. But what happens if that didn't actually provide me the right answers? Well, maybe in our hit highlighting, where we can highlight snippets, that might have helped. Or I can actually click on a document, which I'm actually going to do right now, and hopefully you can see this generating. It happened pretty quickly, but I want to highlight that. So this content, I don't know if you've ever seen medical journals in the past, but this can be quite large. And if you wanted to try to scan through, read through a document, see if it's relevant, see if it's applicable or not, that can take a lot of time. And that's where AI can also really come into play. In this case, we're using a partner technology from a company called Algolo, but there's a number of other different techniques for summarization that we can use. This one I really like because it uses something called contextual summarization. And what that means is that I searched for the word ibuprofen. I might have said ibuprofen risks or other important words. So what it does is it says, okay, I'm going to go through all this content and I'm going to try to pick out what's most relevant based on what they just asked. So then I take all that content and I provide a couple of snippets. And in fact, even here, we can see here the very first sentence that came back was exactly what I wanted as an answer anyway. So this is a huge time saving. Being able to really navigate, find what you're looking for quickly and easily is one of the key aspects of Azure Cognitive Search that we're trying to achieve. So let's go back to the demo here, and I want to show you a couple other things. So I don't know if you've noticed here, but we're actually showing relevant results, and they're generally or not necessarily ordered by date, but we'll actually start seeing some dates that are more recent, likely, that are relevant. And that's because we're not sorting it, but we're actually using the search engine's ability to tune results based on what's important. Because we heard that doctors were saying that, that's great that it talked about this disease a year ago, but what's more critical are the items that are more recent. Remember I was telling you about AutoTrader, where in their case, relevancy is often based on location. Being able to tune things and weight things based on factors important to your users or your organization is often important to apply to. And next, remember we were talking about the enrichments, where in the initial JSON data, we had journal data and also authors, but now we have so much more. We have extra body structures, diagnoses, treatments, signs, symptoms, genes, medication classes, very specific medical content that has been extracted that allows me to further navigate. And so in this case, we're using medical entities, but maybe you're in a financial organization. And for you, what's important is be able to extract out organization names or people names or other types of content. That is where this enrichment really comes into play. And once we have that, I can say, yes, I'm actually interested in ibuprofen relating to fever, and allow me to further refine down on the results so that only what I see is related to that item. So in this, we see that we have the search interface, but then also what we can do is we can start correlating. So for example, here, I say that item is really interesting. I'd like to find other documents similar to this. I just say to the search engine, find documents similar to this, and we'll go out and we'll search for it and bring back relevant results such as this that are similar textually based on the one that you're interested in. So hopefully this gives you an idea of some of the types of things that you can use Azure Cognitive Search for. And I'm hoping this helps you think, with some of your content, could I use this type of an interface, this type of an interaction to help my users go through and navigate the content more effectively? So let's jump in a little bit more technically. And what I want to do is I want to show you the portal that sits behind this, the Azure Portal. This is the search service that I'm using behind the scenes. So as you mentioned, it's a developer API. We have a web application calling Azure Cognitive Search, doing the search queries, getting that back and serving up the results. Well, if we see in the portal here, there's a number of different things. For example, here's my search service where I can programmatically access it through REST APIs or other SDKs. I can also do things such as clicking on scale here, so that as an administrator, what I can do is I can very easily scale it up and down based on what's important to me. I can scale it as I add in more content to store more data. I can scale it for users so that as more users are using it, I can scale that up to balance that load, doing load balancing. We take away all of the headaches that come with managing these types of systems at scale. Now let's actually take a look at that index that we were querying. So I'm going to click on indexes here, and let's go down. You can see I actually have multiple different versions of the application that I've used over time. And this is a search explorer. As I mentioned, there are APIs, so you can absolutely just do your search queries through the APIs or SDKs. But let's look through a couple examples of what it looks like. So I'm going to first type in ibuprofen and just search for that. You can actually see here the request here. And I'm actually going to zoom in here just so you can actually see what that looks like. So let me just zoom in here a second. And you can see here I search for ibuprofen. Here is the REST API that was provided. And if we scroll down a little bit, you'll notice all of the search results that came back, where in a JSON format, the API is sending back all of the metadata that was relevant, all of the documents that are relevant, so that my web application can then receive that content and then visualize it. Well, I can actually make a little change. So let's make that query a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to do hit highlighting. So I'm going to add highlight, and I'm going to do highlighting over the body text you can see here, so that whenever a user searches for a word, as we were doing in the application, I can do hit highlighting. So if I search for that, you'll notice now all of the results that come back have emphasis. So I could change this to bold tags, I could do underlines, font colors, whatever I want. And that, hopefully you can see how this start linking. Remember when I was looking at the application, when I searched for ibuprofen, we were doing hit highlighting. So we showed snippets of text. Hopefully you start seeing how this all starts tying together. Finally, let's do categorization, so that, remember on the left side where it has signs, symptoms, treatments, all the different numbers, how that happens. So I'm going to put in facet, equals symptom or signs or sign. Search for that. And you can see here, not only did I get the documents, but I can see here that there are, remember, I clicked on fever. There are 250 documents that are relevant to ibuprofen that are mentioning a fever. So that allows me to tie in all those categories, those facets as we call them, to be able to tie this together so that you can build out the ultimate search experience that you see here. And we also have links that if you want to see this more from a reference architecture perspective, we have that, so you can actually click on it and go from there. So with that, what I'd like to do is I'd like to switch over to Lewis and see if there's any questions that have come up that you'd like to go through.
Hey, Liam, thanks for the great presentation. Yes, there are a few questions online. One of them is, do you have any tips or tricks for the developer community? You know, like anything that will make them more efficient?
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a number of things that we've done over the last couple of months. First of all, I mentioned the SDKs throughout this, where we have the REST API, we have .NET SDKs, but we have made a big attempt to actually really extend that. We've added a number of different SDKs for other different languages, such as Python, Java, JavaScript, so that it makes it a lot easier for you to do your development against Azure Cognitive Search in the language that you prefer to do that. So that's all generally available now, ready for you to use. And actually, just in the last couple of days, we actually just released a new integration with Visual Studio Code. In fact, let me show you that. I think I have this. Let me just open up a link here. In fact, I'll type in the link so you have it, aka ms.VS Code search, and go to that link. And right from the Visual Studio Code Marketplace, what you can do is you can install a plugin. So for all of you that are using Visual Studio Code, this allows you to do all the types of administration that you might want to do right from Visual Studio Code. In fact, let me bring up Visual Studio Code so you can actually see what that looks like. When you download and install it, if I click on the Azure link here, you'll have Cognitive Search. It will allow you to authenticate to your search services, list all of them that are available. You can see I have quite a few here that I have access to. But here's one search service that I wanted to highlight called LiamCA Ignite. And you can see all the different things, including the indexes, the search indexes that are holding my data. And I can expand that, take a look at it. And it makes it very easy for me to create a flow to get started really quickly. For example, let me create a new index. I can just right click, choose create new index. You can see how it gives me a little template here. I'm going to call it, let's call it Ignite. And we have all the different aspects. So for example, this field is a string. It is searchable. If in the text where I'm going to put my main content, let me use the language analyzers. And you can see here, as I type, it gives me a lot of hints. We have so many different language analyzers. So for example, I know this is going to be English content, and I want it to deeply understand that English content really, really well. I've made all the changes. I can keep on adding a couple more fields if it's important to me. I save this, upload those changes, and it creates that index for me. And if we expand that, I can then start adding some documents. So for example, I can say, create a new document. Say, let's give it an ID of 1, and let's put in the word mouse and put that into the text. If I save that, that will upload the document. I can certainly add multiple, more than one. But once I've saved that, I can then say, okay, now let me do a search. I'm going to search the index, and let's put in the word mice. I put in the word mouse, but let's see what happens if I search for the word mice. It says Control-Alt-R to run that, so let's do that. Does the search, and we can actually see how the search service actually still brought a result back. You might be asking, why did that come back? Because mouse and mice are not the same word. That is because the search engine, when I added that language analyzer, allowed me to tell it, I want you to understand variations of words. So run, runner, running, all can be understood as the same types of words. It's called stemming and lemmatization. And so this really powers a lot of the back end to allow people to be more effective to search and find what they're looking for. So those are a couple of updates that we had from that perspective. Any other questions, Louis?
This is super exciting. I can't wait to try this extension for Visual Studio Code. I'm sure it will make my life more efficient. Also, yes, there is another question. Due to security, a lot of our customers need to add Azure Cognitive Search to a virtual network. Can you, at a high level, just tell us what the process will be to do that?
Yeah, great question. So I did mention the fact that security is such an important thing early on in the session, but I really didn't dig in very deep into that idea of virtual networks and how that gets set up. And really what this means is that as we are building out a secure environment, we want a virtual network to secure all those components. But in the search area, there's two main areas that are important. There is the access to the search service. So like just in VS Code where we saw, where I was performing that search query, that's the inbound requests, being able to secure that. So what we do is we have private endpoints so that anything that is accessing the search service is, secured through these private endpoints. So it ensures that only certain services have access inbound. That's one thing. The second thing is the outbound. Now, we typically see that most people want to use our crawler. So maybe you have data in blob storage or some other service that you want the search service to crawl, to bring in and enrich that content into your search index. That is the outbound private endpoints. So not only do we have the security for private endpoints to link those services and those data stores together, but we have now and generally available something called managed identities, which allows you to do authentication between the search service and the backend data stores so that not only is it secure, but it is authenticated and make sure that that link is completely secure end to end.
That's great. Well, maybe we have time for one last question, which is, okay, so do you work both on structured and unstructured data? For instance, we saw in your last demo in the extension, for instance, that the data was like essentially like JSON data, and we saw something similar to that in the COVID example that you showed. What about, I don't know, maybe have a database or maybe have documents? Does it work with both structured and unstructured data?
Yeah, that's a really great point too. So what we've seen in this demonstration has been very much around what we would call unstructured data, PDFs, Office files, just a lot of text that might be coming from, say, blob storage or maybe some other location. But it is equally important to be able to build out this type of a search experience over your structured data. For example, if you look at AutoTrader, that very first case study that we talked to, that data is structured. That's sitting in a data store. So they have the cars, the manufacturer, the price, all that information sitting in a data store, a structured data store, such as SQL, Cosmos database, or other systems like that, and being able to bring that in, but build an effective search over that content is equally applicable to those cases that we were just showing here, where we're going over unstructured PDF Office-style documents.
Well, thank you so much, Liam. I really appreciate it. This has been a great presentation. We have put a few resources for you online, including a link to the demo that Liam showed, and a few other resources for you to learn how you can create great AI-powered applications using Azure Cognitive Search. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Liam.
Thank you.